Greetings in the name of Jesus, Brother Ali Bakhtiar, Christian evangelist from Chicago, making the third installment on Iranian fact-checking or Iran fact-checked series. I apologize for the non-studio-like situation for making this podcast. The subject is the clandestine intervention of MI6 and CIA back in 1953 in Iran, and what mistakenly people refer to it as a coup. By definition, a coup d'etat is a military takeover of the government and keeping it under a military dictatorship or police state for an extended period of time, suspending all the democratic mechanisms that keep a democratic government going. None of these definitions fit what happened in 1953 in Iran. It was not a democracy prior to that. It was not a democracy after that. The military operation didn't keep power. Simply a rogue prime minister was pulled out of the office, and a monarch was put back in charge and given more responsibilities, and the monarch took more supervision over what his prime minister was doing. Let's step back and see what was the beef all about. And this is what the beef was about. The first time in Middle East, oil was discovered and was planned to be explored industrially, as an oil extraction and export industry was in southern Iran. And a company called British Petroleum discovered that. And then they brought their engineers, petroleum engineers and chemical engineers, all sorts of engineering and scientific innovations meant for that purpose for the first time in the world. They brought them to southern Iran and they assembled it. Now, this was in early 1900s. That went on for a couple of decades. And then a prime minister named Mr. Mossadegh, he was the first Iranian to go outside Iran, get academic education in law and graduate. So he was a bright individual comparatively. What he decided to do was basically greed. He said to his own people that the oil is ours, the land is ours. We need to tell these British people and the companies, leave. Your technology stays, your equipment stay, you leave. This is ours. Now I'm gonna take my cap off as a chemist and a chemical engineer. Take my hat off as a Christian evangelist and as a political pundit, and I'm gonna put my cap on as an engineer and a scientist, because that's what I do in my day work. Technology is extremely expensive. It takes years, sometimes decades of sweat and blood to come up with a new technology. When American engineers or when British engineers go to a risky place like Middle East, they set up shop, they give birth to a whole new technology and a whole new industry there. They're putting their lives in danger. They have put decades, years of sweat and blood into that technology. That's expensive. They need to be paid for that work. They call that the price of technology, price of science, price of engineering hours are very expensive. In my line of work as chemical engineer, we go to locations that are really risky. The geopolitics of them is dangerous. The actual work conditions are dangerous. Explosions, chemical exposures, kidnapping, all of these things. Now, a group of locals, they cannot come out and say, sir, leave the equipment, leave the technology, back up and go back home. That is called highway robbery. Back in 1953, that is what Mossadegh was asking the British to do. And the British were understanding. They didn't leave, but they told him, if you want to renegotiate our contract, we will renegotiate. Mossadegh was hell-bent. No, it's our soil, it's our oil, leave. Well, that's not fair. That's violation of contract law. That's violation of international law. That's violation of the principles of equity, no matter how you look at it. So that is what happened, and what the British needed to do to preserve their property rights, intellectual property rights, and physical property rights, and protecting their capital. They reached out to President Truman in the United States. President Truman had just centralized the intelligence apparatus of the United States, called the CIA, and they had a methodology that they were theoretically working on. It's called M and N and M, 3 M's. Money, military, media. President Truman instructed CIA to work with MI6 and put that theoretical strategy into practice, see if it will work. And that is how Operation Ajax came about. It was not a coup. I was born in Iran in 1976. And the first time when I went to elementary school was in 1982 in a suburb of Tehran, Iran. From that day one in elementary school all the way until when I graduated with a bachelor's in chemical engineering, ad nauseum, every single day in school. Teachers, the political activists, students, everybody kept talking about the coup d'etat of 1953 and how evil the British are and how evil the Americans are. Well, there is nothing evil about a company, a country, a person, or a group of persons to protect their intellectual property. There's nothing evil about a government or a group of people to say, please pay for our technology. Please pay for our engineering work. This is an extended version of this fact check. I will produce a less than 3 minute of the same subject and upload it as a short video. Be blessed in the name of Jesus. I will be praying for all of you, for the American people, for the British people, and the Iranian people while I'm on my fishing trip. And God bless you.